Hello everyone, welcome. So I'm coming on here live because I wanted to do this Facebook Live. I think it's a really important topic, but for those of you who are not familiar with me, excuse me, hello, I am Brianna and I am the founder of this group, and I help teen girls and young women end their depression, their anxiety, their self-loathing, their self-harm, suicidal thoughts, so they can really step into their power and their confidence. And so, this Facebook Live is how to know if your daughter can handle college. And I think it's a really important topic that we talk about. So if you are joining me live, hello, let me know that you are here live. You can write in the comments live and I'll know you're live. If you are watching the replay, just go to the comments and type in replay so I know who's watching, whether you're live or the replay. Whether you're live or the replay, whether you are live or you're watching it later, it is all good. I am getting tongue twisted today. Let's see how this is gonna roll. But that's how I like to do things, a la natural. So hopefully you guys can understand me. Always like to have a good time. So anyways, over the years, I have worked with so many teen girls and young women. And I've had hundreds and hundreds of conversations with parents. And a lot of the conversations are around, parents are worried, moms are worried, is my daughter ready for college? Can she handle it? And there's so much that goes into someone actually being ready to handle college. But first, before we get into it, I just want to tell you guys this, and I actually just looked it up because I wanted the statistics on this. And did you know that 30% of students drop out their freshman year of college? 30% of students are dropping out their freshman year of college. That's an insane number. It's huge, right? So what's going on? So one of the things that I want to talk about is why is college such a struggle? Why is it such a hard time for a lot of girls? Because I have I took a lot of notes, so because I had a lot that I wanted to say in this Facebook Live. So if I'm looking down periodically, it's just because I wanted to cover everything and I don't want to miss anything. So one of the things, that is a struggle for a lot of girls and young women is not living at home anymore, right? You're going from living under mom and dad's roof to all of a sudden, your daughter is on her own. She's got all this freedom, right? She has to make her own schedule. So that's a definite change, right? When your daughter goes away to college. And also not seeing you every day, or not seeing, her other family members every day, right? So that's a big change. It's a big change when girls go off to college. The other thing is it could be a different routine with their sleep, right? Usually they kind of have a routine when they're under your roof, but now when they're on their own and college, it's their sleep schedule can get way wonky, right? So that's another thing that can happen. Also, the different influences that come with being away at college, right? Different influences with friends, right? So this could be also friends who are partying, who are drinking, who are every night going out to have a good time, right? And so if your daughter gets caught up in the drinking, I'm here to have a good time, okay, well, your daughter is at college to obviously she wants to have a good time, but there's so much more to college than just partying, and that doesn't have to be the only thing that she's interested in doing, right? So the influences that come with all of that, and that could be also alcohol, drug use, substance abuse, all of these things play a role. Okay, so that's another one. The other thing that I think is important to mention is this. If you or your spouse or partner was someone who was constantly, sorry, I have something in my eye. I think it's an eyelash. If you have been monitoring your daughter's schedule, if you have been on her to okay, you got to finish your homework. Okay, honey, you have to study for that test, and you've been on your daughter the whole time she's been in high school, maybe even middle school, right? And maybe she's gotten used to like, okay, like I stay on top of my stuff, not really because of me, but because I have mom or because I have dad who is kind of pushing me along, right? And so when your daughter is off at college, she doesn't have all of that. She's not living under your roof anymore. So she has to take the responsibility of doing it on her own. And that can be really, really challenging for a lot of girls and young women. The other things that I also want to mention, and this is such an important thing, is just like being an adult. Like sometimes because I do what I do for a living and I work with so many teen girls and young women, sometimes I am experiencing like being an adult and all the things that go along with it. And I'm like, it's a lot to be an adult. And you guys will probably also agree, right? It's a lot to be a parent too, you guys are probably thinking, right? But it's a lot to be an adult. What does being an adult mean? Well, it means being self-sufficient. So what are some of the things that your daughter is going to have to learn how to do for herself that maybe she wasn't doing when she was under your roof in high school? Maybe that's cooking for herself. Maybe that is doing her laundry. Maybe that is, creating a schedule so that she stays on it. Nina, hello. My daughter is struggling with being around so many people at school. She's currently attending university. Yes, thank you, Nina. Yeah, well, so that's also something that's new and different. Like and I have one of the girls in my grad program right now is a freshman in college, and from living with mom and dad to all of a sudden being in a dorm building, and there's so many people all over the place, and it can be really overwhelming, right? It's a lot of people. Going from high school to college and all of the dorms or on-campus apartments or wherever your daughter happens to be living, it's like that's a big change and a big difference. Going back to what I was saying about being an adult, right? So this is also about like the responsibility that these girls have to have, whether it's, okay, like I said, like doing the laundry, going to the grocery store, all of the things that like we don't really think twice about is all brand new for these girls. And maybe one or two of those things might not seem like such a big deal, but all of them, plus being away from home, plus having to make new friends, plus having to like, do well in her classes and like all of the things, can become like a big tornado. Like, oh my God, I thought this was gonna be great, but what was I thinking, right? And so what happens is there's so many new things, and it's being like thrown at your daughter, and it's like one thing after the other. And here's the thing too. The mind doesn't like change, okay? So the mind will resist change, and you throw a girl in college, it's a lot of change. It's a lot of things that are like brand new. And so it can be overwhelming. And so one of the things, and here's another thing too, there's a lot of pressure. Some of this is unspoken pressure that we get from like society, like, oh, you have to go to college and you have to do X, Y, and Z, or pressure from friends because all of the friends are going to these Ivy League schools. So then I have to go to an Ivy League school too. It's right. So there's a lot of pressure. There can be pressure from family. There can be pressure from friends, society, pressure that they put on themselves, right? And then I think it's this whole thing, the balancing act. The balancing act of, okay, then you have a lot of girls that are going into college who are those high achievers, right? And they're like, work, and they can work themselves to the ground because that's all they're focusing on. And they don't have time for like a life outside of all of that, a life outside of their classes, a life outside of studying and taking tests. And so they don't put time aside for like making those connections and creating friendships, which is a really important part of the college experience, is making those connections, having those friendships. And so there are some girls that are the really, really high achievers. And then there are those girls that all they want to do is like party and hang out with people, and they don't care about their classes, and they're failing, and they're just like, whatever, I just want to have a good time. So there's all kinds of people that are going away to college, right? So here's the thing that I want to talk about, because it is so important, right? So going back to the topic of this Facebook Live, how to know if your daughter can handle college. So a lot of people are measuring someone's readiness for college based on their grades, based on their achievements, based on their SAT scores, based on their GPA, right? And so that actually doesn't mean it's a part. It's maybe we can chalk it up to say maybe it's like 25% of someone's readiness to go off to college. Okay? It's a part of it, but it's not all of it. And so what we really need to take a look at, for your daughter to be ready, for your daughter to be able to say, yes, I can handle college. Yes, I can do this. Your daughter has to be willing and ready to make her mental health and well-being a priority in her life. I'm going to say it again because it's so important. It's so important. And it's the thing that we don't even think about. We don't even think about it. But it's like everything. So for your daughter to be ready, for your daughter to be able to handle college, again, it's not all about the grades, the achievements, the accolades, the SAT scores, the valedictorian or class president or whatever she was in high school. What we have to look at and what we have to shift our focus on is whether your daughter is willing and ready to prioritize her mental health and well-being. That's it. That's it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Are most girls doing that? Most girls are not prioritizing their mental health and their well-being. They never did it in high school, so why would they do it in college, right? They don't know how. They don't know what that would look like. And I've had like a number of cases where, like, you know, girls are going off to college and they can't cut it. It's too much for them. The schoolwork is too much. The partying is too much. Everything is too much, right? The depression like sets in and they go deeper and deeper. They stop going to classes, right? It's too hard. It's too difficult. They can't maintain this. And the hard thing too is because they're not living under your roof, so you don't see everything that's going on. And so your daughter could, one of two things, like your daughter can be, you know, masking a lot because she doesn't want you to worry. And I once had a girl who I worked with a while back, and she actually started working with me on the way to college. She went through like a severe depression, and she was like in bed for practically. Oh no, is this gonna have to be a two-parter? Of course, this only happens when I'm going live on Facebook that I have poor Wi-Fi issues. I'm gonna keep going, and I hope this is working. If anybody is here live, I see some of you are live. Can you just give me a thumbs up or give me something that this is still going live? I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope you can see me. It's saying live, so I see people are here. So okay, good. I got a thumbs up. That's the green light. I can keep going here. Okay, thank you. So anyway, so back to this young woman. So she was in college. Thank you, Nina, you're awesome. She was in college. She was, and she went through a horrible depression. And every time that she talked to her mom, she didn't tell her mom what was going on. So she basically told her mom what she wanted to hear until eventually, months later, her mom figured out like what was going on, and she pulled her out of college. She came back home. I started working with her. She had a major transformation. And of course, after that, she was ready to go back to school. But why was she ready to go back to school? Well, she had learned something from me. She had learned how to make her mental health a priority. She had learned how to make her well-being a priority and prioritizing herself. That's the thing. That's the thing that is missing for so many of these girls. They go away to college, and do you know how many girls that go off to college develop eating disorders? It's ridiculous, and I didn't even look at the statistics on that. I think I heard somewhere like 20%. I would have to double check on that. Don't quote me on that percentage, but it's a high number of girls who are developing eating disorders in college. Yes, also in high school they do that, but I think it's like something like 20% in college. That's crazy. So why is this happening? Why are more and more girls feeling depressed and anxious and overwhelmed and stressed out to the max while they are in college, and they don't know what to do about it? And don't even get me started with the resources that are given to them on campus to help them with their mental health. It's not enough, and it doesn't dive in deep enough, right? And they're overwhelmed. There's so many students at the school, and there's only so many resources that can go around to everyone, right? And so many of these girls are just they're struggling. They don't know what to do, right? So freshman year is a big year for a lot of students, a lot of girls who end up dropping out because they're like, I can't do it. One of the things that I will say is this. Also, your daughter's mindset plays such a huge role in her mental health and well-being and her ability to feel like she can do college. I don't know how many times I hear from girls and young women who say things like, I can't do it. Doesn't have to be about college. It could be about anything. I can't do it. This is too hard. I give up. I can't figure this out, right? So what happens when girls who are in college, young women who are in college, and they're saying like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is just too hard. I need to give up, right? So what's happening here is these girls, again, going back to this, they never learned how to make their mental health and well-being a priority. And so if this is happening to your daughter, let's say your daughter is in college right now and you're seeing her unravel. Like, lots of parents are getting calls every single day, every other day, and maybe your daughter is sobbing. She's like, oh my God, I just had a panic attack. I don't know what to do. And you're trying to calm her down, and you're like, oh my God. And then you're freaking out because your daughter's freaking out and everyone's freaking out, right? Or your daughter is going through a horrible depression and she's having a hard time going to her classes. The other thing too is, like, it depends. You may not know what's going on with your daughter. Maybe she's sharing this with you, maybe she's not. Whatever the circumstances may be, and look, every family is different. Every girl is different. Every situation is different. But the thing that remains the same is that these girls do not know how to make their mental health and their well-being a priority. And so, look, I've helped hundreds of teen girls and young women actually step into self-care, taking care of themselves. What does that look like to make their mental health and well-being a priority? Like, what does that even look like? That's a whole nother Facebook Live. I don't have time for that. And I actually have to go in a minute because I do have a coaching session in just a few minutes that I have to run to. But there's a lot that plays into this, right? And so hopefully I was able to give you some new insight. It's not about, what the things that we tend to look at, the grades, the achievements, the GPA, the college resume, if you will. Like, all of those things we think is what measures success for somebody to be able to go off to college and have a successful, 4 years, 5 years in college. And it's really not, right? Your daughter's readiness for college is going to be measured by her ability to take her mental health by charge and prioritize her well-being for the next 4 years. And if you're not confident that she can do that, private message me, reach out to me. This is what I am doing with so many girls and young women every single day, whether your daughter happens to be in college or whether she's still in high school. This is something that it's important that we talk about, and it's something that's important that you start thinking about now, because what you don't want to send your daughter off to college and then, your daughter from day one is struggling. From day one, she's like, I can't make friends. From day one, she can't keep up in her classes. And then she gives up. and then she comes back home. And then maybe she'll do community college. Maybe she'll just say, I don't want to do college at all. And then what then? Okay, so then you have her under your roof, and it's like, it's a big mess. And so one of the things that, aside from, mental health too, it's like, it's your daughter's mindset. It's her belief in herself. It's your daughter's belief that she can do anything, right? And so when your daughter doesn't have the confidence in herself that she can succeed in life, when your daughter doesn't have the confidence that she can overcome life's challenges, because there's going to be challenges in college. There's going to be a lot of challenges in college. And if your daughter has a, I can't do it attitude, if your daughter has a, oh my God, this is too overwhelming, I can't deal with it, and she's cutting, or she's having suicidal thoughts, or she's going deeper into the worst depression of her life, or she's having panic attacks every single day, she can't handle it. And there's a way that your daughter can learn how to rise above life's challenges, okay? There's a way your daughter can learn how to be confident. So whatever challenges that are gonna come her way, she's gonna be able to be like, I got this. I know what to do. I'm gonna use whatever it is. I'm not gonna spill the beans on like everything that she can do. I don't have time on this Facebook Live, but it's really about, the girls that can overcome these obstacles, these challenges, and rise above. Those are the girls that are going to be successful in life. Those are the girls that are going to really do great things with their lives. And the girls that don't have that resiliency, the girls that don't know how to get through life's challenges, those are the girls that will struggle through their lives. And here's the deal. This is not brain surgery to teach. This is not brain surgery to learn. Like, I've taught hundreds and hundreds of girls and young women how to do this. So, like, your daughter can change. If I've described your daughter, if anything that I have said has spoke to you or resonated with you, you're not alone, okay? So if you like my help, reach out to me, private message me in Facebook, and just type out the words college, and we'll have a conversation and see if this is something that I can help your daughter with, okay? I'm gonna have to run. I have a coaching session right now, but if you have any questions, leave them. Nina, awesome. I'll look forward to getting your PM. Leave your questions below, and even if you're watching the replay, if you have questions, leave them below. I would love to stay on longer because this is, I could spend a whole hour, even longer, talking about this topic because it's really, really important. It's really important that your daughter learns how to be self-sufficient, that she learns how to be independent, that she learns how to make her mental health and well-being a priority. And if you need help, if you want help, this is what I do every day, all day. This is what I'm helping girls and young women to do. So reach out to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Bye, guys.